Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So this is the exam, let's say, that would like you to the final practical exam that you're going to be having. If you have some kind of exam, and this is an advice not only for this kind of exam or any exam that you have, don't always go with question 1, question 2, question 3. Just look for the ones that are easier and start with them. For example, we all know that PowerPoint, for example, is much easier than the rest. And Access might take more time because you might do some small mistake that gives you some messages that are taking some time to solve. So leave it until the end. So you start with the easiest one, you save time, so you have more time for the hardest ones, or the ones that takes more time. So this is your way to do it. Don't just go 1, 2, 3 because the teacher put it 1, 2, 3. Do this the way you find it the easiest for you. And then we have 3 questions, 1 hour. That makes how many minutes for each question? If it was, sorry? Maybe 15 minutes. It's actually 15 times 3 is 45, or let's say 15 minutes. And then I have 15 other minutes just for review, let's say. So actually it's 20 minutes, but let's say I'm going to put 15 minutes for each exercise. I have to finish each exercise before 15 minutes, or at maximum 15 minutes. So I can have, even though it takes me more time, I know that I have 5 more minutes just in case for each exercise I have some problems that I need to solve. So this is the way you need to plan ahead. So for example, I'm working on exercise, then I find out it takes like 25 minutes. Okay, stop. No, because you're losing marks on some others exercises that might be easier for you to solve. So you have to come up with this mindset. You come to the exam, whether this is the practical or theoretical, is the same idea. The first thing you do, count how many exams, how many questions, and then divide it by the time that you have, so you know exactly how much time you can spend on each question. And then you read all the exam, not only the first one you start to answer. Read all the exams so you can have a bigger picture. Where are the questions that might take more of your efforts? Those that are very easy, you're going to not lose time on them. And then try to save the time. For example, each question takes 10 minutes. If you took 5 minutes, that means 5 more minutes for the other questions that are hard to, or will take more time. This is the way you're going to manage your time. So now we have these questions, Excel, and then Access, and then PowerPoint. We went through all of them, and then we say, okay, what's the easiest one? Let's start with the PowerPoint. PowerPoint's easier, so let's get it out of the way. And this is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be creating this 4 slides presentation using the specifications below and name it whatever it is named. So in the first slide, okay, so we were saying we're going to be creating this 4-slide presentation. So I have 4 slides. And in the first slide, let's enter something. So I'm going to start the PowerPoint, blank presentation. And then in the first slide, I would like to insert a footer, your name and ID in all slides. Oh, what is this? This is something that we haven't seen, right? But actually you can do it by just going into insert, header and footer. And then you can have some things. We would like something in the footer to be your name and ID. Okay, so your name and then ID. And then let's go back and see this is applied to all. That means all the slides are going to be showing this thing over here. So apply to all. Even if I add a new slide, you're going to see I'm having this in the bottom. So what we would like to have is something like this, something using this your word art having restaurant as a title. So does it seem to be something like this? No, because this layout might not be suitable, because I would like to have some more content on this one. So this need to be changed. So I can some kind of layout like this, and then in the title I can put it like this, restaurant like this, or I can just not enter the title like that. I can insert the word art, and then from there I'm going to enter the text myself. But it's easier also just to type it, and then you select it, and then you apply whatever word art you'd like it to be. So I didn't specify what kind of word art, but just select something. Anything that suits you will be fine for me. And then you can put any kind of formats, as long as this is part of these word art styles that you can use. Okay, below the title insert the following text as shown below. So we would like to have this example of foods and things like this. Okay, so let's type them. Example of food, and then we have like 1 beef, and then we have expensive. Did you realize I'm just typing? I don't even put the 1, the 2. Well, that's my advice to you. Don't start typing at the first place. Just type the text and then we're going to format it. Not very expensive. So this is the thing that I would like to use. For example, this one I don't want it to have like a bullet, right? It doesn't have a bullet. I'm going to remove the bullet from this one and then maybe put it in the middle. If I would like to have it in the middle, or just I don't need to have it in the middle. It's up to you, because I didn't force you to use something like that. You can just push it a little bit and it's going to be fine. Just using, for example, this spacing. Increase. No, this is the list level. The space with the tab. Just push a tab, for example, and then I can just put an underline. Oh no, just this one. This is underlined. And bold maybe, and that's it. Repeat what? The space with the tab. The tab that pushes. You know, you can push as much as you want, and then you can cancel that. This cancel. I removed this bullet by selecting this one and then clicking on the bullet to remove it, and then press the tab. I have some more space, and then I can have this underlined and bold because it looks similar to this. And then I have 1 and 2. I don't have bullets, so I'm going to select everything and put them as 1 and 2. But I don't want this to be 1 and 2, so that's fine. I'm going just to push it. Where it shows as 1, let's convert it to a bullet. And same thing for this one. I'm going to push it and then make it a bullet. Now it looks something like this. Insert a relevant picture, well, whatever picture. In the exam, I'm not going to ask you to insert something that is from the online, because you're not going to be having internet. So it's just any picture will do. So just select any picture will be okay, if we can find one. Normally I should have some pictures somewhere. Let's say this one. And fine, whatever, just put it somewhere and that's fine. Create a hyperlink to link each type of food: beef to slide 2, chicken to slide 3. So I have a slide 2 here that I'm going to be like the beef. So this should be a link that if I click on it, it will take me to slide 2, and the slide 2 I'm going to be having this text as shown below. So this is kind of beef, something like this. Maybe I can have it like this, and then underline, and I have steak and barbecue. Just copy and let's paste steak and barbecue. I don't want to see those bullets, and that's fine. So now this is my second slide. I need to go back to this one because I didn't do it. I need the slide 2 to do it. So I'm going to insert the hyperlink to a place inside the document and say slide 2. Now this is going to be linked to this slide 2. I'm going to repeat it because I needed the same thing for chicken. So I'm going to, first of all, I cannot put this one. It said create a hyperlink to each of this link of food: a beef to slide 2 and chicken to slide 3. But I don't have slide 3 anymore yet, so I need to add it first. So I'm going to insert a new slide. It should be after this one. This is slide 2, it's slide 3. It should be like chicken and something like KFC and Popeye. And go back here, remove the bullets and put these in the underline because it says something like this, that looks like this. And then I'm going now to link this one. I select the text of the chicken and then I go to insert hyperlink and select the slide. I mean, in a place in this document you have to click on this because by default this is how it shows. You have to click on this one and then select which slide, slide number 3, and then OK. Now I'm having this link to that. So in the slide 2, I haven't finished something, yes? Yes, when you go here, you in the insert, you have to select it. You have to click on it. If you double click, it just clicks on it and then okay. Yeah, I did for the wrong one. So did I finish now? Do you realize I haven't been able to finish this until I created the slide 2 and slide 3. So don't get stuck and well, I don't know what to do. Just you have to read the whole exam, the whole question as a whole. And now I need to do something. In the slide 2, I added this thing to be able to have the hyperlinks, but I did not finish this action over here. So insert the following 2 action buttons, home to slide 1 and next to next slide. So I need to insert those. What should I do? I'm still in slide 1 or slide 2. Where should I insert those? Slide 1? No. This is going to be in slide 2. So I need to go to slide 2 and then insert that. So insert and then shapes. And then this is the one that takes me to home. And first slide. And insert again. Shape. One that takes to next. Generate this one. And this is to the next slide, and that's it. Now I need to do the same thing to this one, so I'm going just to copy them. Control C, and then Control V. Now I have them all. It's the same thing because it's the same thing. I can do the same thing again, but it's the same realization. At the end, I end up with the same result. Now in the slide number 4, I just would like to have this kind of things, right? Example of food, beef, chicken, and then these 3 dots here. What does these 3 dots means? What do you expect to have these 3 dots means? Some details. What kind of details should I put? Well, I have these kind of things here, so it should be here. That's what I'm guessing. So it says 3 level. This is 1 level, 2nd level. The 3rd level needs to be added. So and use the information from slide 1, 2, 3. Okay, so everything is there. Okay, so I need to now insert that. I'm inserting a new slide, and it needs to be some kind of smart art because this is where I need this hierarchy where I can see this organizational chart. Now click OK. I don't need this one, so I'm going just to cut. And I have this. I have 2 of them. I don't need the 3rd one. I'm going to cut this one too. So now I have 2. The first one is about example of foods. And then the second one is beef and chicken. And then chicken. Now I need to add below this one, add a shape below. So it's going to add 2 things, which are this for the steak and barbecue for the beef. Steak, oh, what happened? And barbecue. And then I'm going to do the same thing, insert, shape below, and then it was KFC and Popeye. I don't know why I copy and paste and then it seems to add the nice. Alright, now I'm going to delete this one where it's cut, and then Popeye. So that's it for this slide. Do we need to add something else? Yes, insert action button home. I'm going to copy it again. Copy, Control C and Control V. And use suitable design, layout and animation for all slides. So I need now to select some kind of design. So let's go here. Anything will do. I need to select the whole presentation. And anything even. Did you realize I select them all this way? By clicking on here and then Control A. Control A selects everything. Now you select whatever you like. It's going to be okay. You can select any style. I don't force you in any of those styles. So let's choose this one for example, so I can make it easier. What about now the transitions and animations? Anything, any animation for all slides, you can add them. So for all slides I would like to have an animation, so you need to select on one of the items, go for the animation and then select one. Same thing here, go select something and then you can select one kind of animation. I'm not forcing you to choose one of them. Whatever you choose is okay.
The whole slide or just the text?
For this is for the one slide. I'm putting an animation in each slide. So it doesn't have to be all the items in the slide that have to be animated. One of them is enough. I feel like I haven't answered your question. Is that okay? If I ask you about transitions, well, same thing. Control A, and then you can go for transitions. This is going to be putting on the same transition to each of the slides. If you want to have something customized, you can select each one of them. Will have some different kind of transition. Now this is what we have, and then this is the kind of animations. Okay, so this is done with this thing over here. Shall I save it? Yes. Okay, let me save it. I'm going to put it. No, I'm going to put it here, and then yeah. Sorry. Organizational chart. That's it. Yeah. And let me call this cs002 final practical review. Okay. Now the next thing that is going to be easier for me is Excel, because it doesn't require a lot of different tables and relationships and so on. So for the Excel, I'm going to now type this. Just to make things faster, I just typed this text over here. So now what I need to do is use the formula function to calculate the following. Notice that I give you the option. You can use a formula or you can use a function. The difference between the two? The difference is that if I tell you use a formula only, you cannot use sum, you cannot use total, you cannot use average. You have to type the formula yourself. This plus that plus this. But if I'm telling you or function, you can use anything you want. Function or formula, whatever it's suitable, you just use it. So now, for example, the total here should be something that I can get very easily by this auto sum. Click on it, that's it. And then I have this is the total, and drag and drop, that's it. And how to get the total sale? Same thing here. Auto sum is going to sum all things. This is the total of the sales. Then how can I hit the total sales percentage? This one divided by this one, enter. It gives me this kind of percentage. I just need to select everything so I can make it look like a percentage. I can click on this percent or just this percent here. Same thing. If I'd like to have more, yeah, but it was not, does it? It says 2 decimal places? Okay, so I'm going to be putting 2 decimal places. Now, same thing. Can I drag and drop? No, I need to fix one of these. This can be fixed with the dollar, and then I can use the drag and drop, and then I'm done. Okay? Sorry? The dollar sign? You just select this and then click on this currency. It's going to show you the dollar sign. Oh, here. Because if I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to drag and drop. I mean, use the autofill. Because now if I use the autofill, look what happens. This is divided by E7. There's nothing in E7. You can just type it yourself now. You can fix it by typing it yourself. Okay, just put this divided by this divided by that, and this is going to be. This can be actually the total of this. It can be sum. It can be the sum of those. Normally it's 100%. Should be. Or equal this divided by this, which doesn't make any difference. But it's easier to have, when you do this dollar sign, it forces the cell not to change when I'm doing the autofill. Now I'm saying E6 should stay E6. Wherever I'm going, it should always stay like this. But the other one is going to change. So now E3 becomes E4, but E6 stays the same. E5 and E6 stay the same, and so on. It's been a long time since you haven't seen this Excel. Now the rest is having the average of the sales. Same thing, I'm going to select this one and select average. I just would like to make sure that I select only those numbers, because I don't want to include this. And do this autofill. Same thing with lowest. I'll just go here, select minimum. Make sure that you select the right set of values, so it's always going to be accurate. Don't just click on this button and wait for it to select everything for you. You have to click and select then the values that you want, and make sure that you select only the values that are needed. And then you can just use the drag and drop. And that's it. Let me check that I have answered all these. Total sale for each food for all 3 days. Total sales for all 3 totals. And then total percentage shows 2 decimal places, average and lowest sales for each day. Okay, so I'm done. All is that I need to do is just this pie chart, but I told you the pie chart is not going to be allowing me to show all the data for the food and total. Actually, you know, for the food and total it will. Even a pie chart will show. I just select this food, and then with the control key, press and select the total. Control and click. If I would like to select different places, I just press my control button, keep pressed, and then I select whatever I want. I can select as many as I want. The only problem, I cannot deselect. It stays selected, but I can keep adding. I cannot. So what did we say? We would like to see using food and total values. So I'm going to see that these are the different kind of foods, and these are the different kind of totals. And pie chart will work. Maybe if you select everything, no, but these are the values, the totals of the food. Let's have a look. If what happens now if I do something like insert and then recommended, shows me the pie chart. So this is the total, and then okay. Now we have 100%, and then each one of them is showing me the different kind of food. I can add the labels. I can show them as a percentage if I want. Anyway, this is something else. Well, I didn't want you to do a lot of different kind of. Showed me just the percentage without the value. Sorry? That's what it said. It said food and total in the question.
But what about the days? One day
But it said food and total. Doesn't it happen to be giving you the information? If I want to do it for each day, then this is something else. I need to select everything, and then not total. I don't need to select the total, and then, of course, this time it will not give you the chart, which is like a pie chart, because the pie chart was going to give you only for one of the days. As you can see, one of the foods, not the days. But this way you can have like if you have more data, then this is the more convenient one. But anyways, for this question, I told you by mistake because I was looking at your screen. I didn't pay attention to the details. But it says food and total. It did not say food and days. So that's the pie chart will work in that case.
So will you one-face a function scheme?
Maybe, but probably not. But it's possible. But if it's not something which is contains a lot of difficulties, but most probably it's not going to be contained in the final product. But potentially it's possible. So that's it for this Excel. Let's save. Okay. Now let's do the same thing now with the Access. Any questions before we go to Access? Well, you can. It said use suitable legend. Well, you should use some title. Okay, it said yeah, you're right. I forgot to do these things. It said use appropriate data labels. So I added the data labels, and legend and title. I'm just going to be chart title is here. Well, it can be totals, for example. That's fine, and it can leave the default one. You just need to add the legend, and actually it's already there. If it's not there, just make sure it's there. But by default, you see most of them were there, only the data labels that I added. Okay, now the last one, this Access. So I'm going to create a new database. I'm going to name it same thing, cs002 final exam review. and let me save it in the same place where I saved the others, so I can find it easier later on. Any questions? Do you have any questions? All right, so we are going to be now, I just closed inadvertently the one that was open by default. Generally, when you open Access, you're going to see this kind of something like this. This is the kind of view that you're going to be seeing. My advice to you, just go straight to the design view. It will ask you what is the name of the table, and then I need to go to the name of the table. The first one, it says customer, so I'm going to go to this customer. Make sure that there are no spaces. While you type, don't put some spaces before and after, because it creates some problems. So now in the customer, what are the different fields? I have customer ID, which is the primary key. Customer ID. I did not tell you what kind of data it is, right? So you're free, because you have to just look at the data type of the data, or the record, so you can have a better idea. So this, maybe it's a number, that's okay. Customer number, is a customer number here, the same thing, it's a number, so it's going to be, as you can see, 4 digits. So it's a number. I can use the number, and it's a primary key. Make sure that it's checked. And then when a second number, by default, it's long integer. Don't touch it, because if you touch it here, and you're going to be creating a relationship with this customer ID later on, and you don't have the same data type, it's going to create some problems for you. So just make sure when you create relationships that you have the same data type. So I'm going to leave it as number. Now I have last name and first name. I didn't tell you what to choose. Well, whatever you choose is okay, because as long as it's a short text, as a text, you said last name, short text, and then first name. Is it how it is written? Yes. And then phone number, and then sex. Okay. With the phone number here, generally you see a phone number, then you want to put a number. Phone numbers, most of the time, it's easier for you to put as a string, because also if you look here at the input mask, for this kind of things like this, you can see the templates by the wizard that will give you. The table must be saved first. Okay, save it, and then it shows me, oh look, this is how it looks. And just click on next and finish, and that's it. You don't need to change any other thing. Now, if you look here, you save, yes. I can just have this all sorted out, and it's going not to be creating any problems. And it's a short text. That's fine, because also this, if I have the spaces or the parentheses, it's going to be able to capture those. Now the sex is, as you can see, one letter. I can just do it like this. Did I specify something? No. So even if you leave it like this, that's fine. You don't change this to 1, for example. It's okay. But this is better. But I did not force you to choose anything, so you can just leave it as it was, and that's enough. If I don't give you some specification, use whatever you want, or whatever is convenient. Sometimes whatever you want might not be convenient for you. It's okay to use the wizard here or anywhere. It's okay, yes. Now I need to design the other table called account. And I need to enter the data in the table. Okay, first let's enter the data. Save first, okay. And let's try to enter 1, 2, 4, 5. And then we have Watson. I'm going to try to copy as much as I can, so to go faster. And then, can I copy this? Let's see. Okay, no, it's not going to be working out, because it puts also the parentheses, the spaces, and this is... I missed the number? Oh. So it was copied then correctly. And then F. And then the same thing, Johnson and Adams, and then copy again, and let's not miss any number. Adams, and then paste. Okay, it works. Mashallah. Okay, and then the last one is this, Hinton, and then these numbers, and then Robert. just to maximize. Okay, so now I have all the data that is entered. Did I tell you to put it in a form? No, but if you have used the form, it would have been better actually. But since I did not force you to use something, you're free not to use it. Not to use the form I meant. Okay, let's close this one. Now I'm going to create another table, go straight to the design, and then this table is going to be called account, and it has account number, and let's just type it. Account number, and then what's the primary key? What is the data type? Seems like it's a number, so I'm going to put it as a number. And this is a primary key. No, a primary key here. And that's it. So I have this primary key. I chose a number. And the customer ID. What happened? I want to be a number here. And then here. This is a number as well, because this is customer ID. And this says, it is said here to be 4 digits. So what should I put? Where? I can put it in input mask, or I can put it in validation rule. It's all the same thing. Okay, but input mask is easier. Then I have this credit card number. And the credit card number, I'm going to go for the text as well, because you see I can have this kind of representation with a lot of numbers with the minus. So I'm going to leave it as short text, and then in the format, no, in the input mask, I'm going to be putting the kind of format. I have one number, and then a minus, and then 5, and then 6, and then 4. So I'm going to, so we said one number, minus, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Was it like this? 1, 5, 6, sorry? Example, for example. Example. I don't understand. I don't know honestly what the G stands for. But generally this is the general meaning. EG means for example. And then the number of purchase, it says it's an integer. It says it's an integer, so I need to put a number and then go here and change it back to be an integer in the field size. And that's it. That's it. I need to save. We said its name is account. And then let's close this. I need to add enter the data, so I'm going to be using the form because it's much easier. I'm going to create the form wizard with this accounts, select all and finish. Just because I would like to make it have it easily entered there. So 1, 2, 3, and then the numbers, and then this big number and 42, and then tab 133, 133. I went 133 here, the other one is here, and then the big number and the number 5, and the last one 134, 134, and then the numbers, and then the bigger number, and 343, and 343. So now I'm done with entering the data. I'm going to go for the relationships now. Database tools, relationships, select them both, add, close. So which one should I be using? Customer ID. Enforce, create. Oh, it says there's a problem. Cannot create the relationship because data in table account violates referential integrity rules.
Maybe because we use the input mask.
Or they get made.
We should use the validation rule.
But whatever this message says, it says that there are some problems with the values inside here. So let's try to understand this problem more. Let me open this table, and let me open the other table. So this in the accounts it says that the customer ID 3321 1224 1453. Do we have these kind of numbers? So this is a problem. This is a problem from the question. The question had a serious problem. Why? Because you cannot create a relationship when you have this kind of data. Why? Because when you create a relationship, what does the relationship means? it means, let me just go back here, close these ones, and then show the relationship. It means now this one is a key. It should not be repeated. And this one is, if we would like to link it to this one and create a referential integrity by enforcing it, it means that I cannot put any number here that is not in this table first, in this customer ID. So if I go here, I'm trying to enter this number 3321. Do I have 3321 here? No. So actually this is a big mistake. This is not going to be working. So I can only enter the values that are here, and I think this is some mistake that came when they tried to create the exercise. So I can put this 3567, let's say, go back here, instead of this number, and then 1245 instead of this number, and then which one is the last one? 14. Well, I don't have 1453. I'm going to use this 6219 for this one over here. So now when I'm putting only the value that exists already, let me close and go back to the relationships and try to, let me delete it again and then try it to make the relationship between the customer ID and customer ID. Now you can see it is not going to be creating any problems, because it respects the conditions that the primary keys, the relationship is forcing. So be careful about that. When you have these kind of things, if, for example, it happens to you during an exam, Allahu A'lam, maybe we put a mistake, we don't realize, make sure that the two fields that you're going to be linking together in a relationship, they have exactly the same data. They cannot have like different datas. I can have, for example, I just would like to make something clear and then take your answer. I can have something that is not used, whatever, something, it's okay. I can have something that is not in this one, that is not used in the other one, because this one it's okay. But I cannot have something in this one that doesn't exist in the other one, because the other one is like the primary key. This is like the main key. The other one is like some sort of a foreign key that is the primary key in another table. So customer ID here is the primary key, and this is customer ID is the primary key in other table. So here I cannot put any value that doesn't exist in the other table. Your questions?
In relationship with the design difference between two tables, it's okay? Or
What do you mean by the design?
format, short text, number?
No, it is a problem. Very good question, because it is exactly a problem. These two fields that you would like to read to link to each other to create a relationship, they have to have exactly the same data type and exactly the same field size. Not only the data type, the same field size. If, for example, I'm going to make a small change, I go here and then I make this to be, it's a number, but instead of long integer, I'm going to make it integer. It's not going to be creating any problem, but I cannot do that because now there's a relationship. I cannot change that.
You put input mask in one and
The input mask is not changing the data type. So the data type is the same, the field size is the same. So it's okay. I can put some different relationship, different input mask, different validation rule, that's not a problem. But the data type and the field size should be exactly the same. So if you spot something different, that's a problem. And that's why most of you sometimes you have this kind of problems with the relationships. Sometimes you have so many different kind of problems. The numbers, the values can be a problem, the data types can be a problem, and also another problem, if you leave one of the tables open, you cannot create a relationship. For example, let me delete this relationship. I just would like to add it again. It tells me, oh, I cannot even delete it because it's open. Let me delete it, and then try to open the table. So the table is open. I'm trying to do the relationship. It will tell me, sorry, you can't. So there's not another person, it's you, but it's you that have this open. That's why it's preventing you from creating any relationship. So relationships needs everything to be closed, everything to be perfect. Same data type, same field size, same data, no conflict. Then you can create the relationships. Last thing, and then I'll let you go, inshallah, is this query. Oh, two things, the query and the report. The query is going to make it easy because it's not complicated. Query the database for all records with purchases more than 10. Where do I have purchases? In both tables? No, only in this table. So I'm going to create a query only in the table that I need to have the information from. I'm going to use the query design. Let's use the wizard best because it's easier for you. Simple query wizard. I'm going to select the accounting, okay. And what do I want? The query must include account number and credit card number. So I'm going to have account number, credit card number. What else? Purchases, because I need to have some condition on them. And that's it. That's it, because the rest is the criteria that I need to put there. So next, what is the name of that? Purchase 10. This is the name of that query. So, and then finish. Now I need to go and design and put the criteria on the purchases, number of purchases. It should be greater than 10. Now run. And I have only those that are greater than 10. That's it for the query. The last thing is the report. And then in the report, now let's close this. Save, yes. Always save. Create the report. Report wizard again. What should I choose? Customer ID, purchase, and total of purchases. Oh, I don't have this total of purchases, but I have customer ID here and purchases here, so I can use this table again. So I'm going to use the table account. And then let's just add everything. That's everything. But actually, we just said it wanted this. I can just use this. I don't need these ones. Customer ID, purchases. I don't need to have credit card. And I have purchases and total purchases. I'm going to add them. So next, do I need to group them based on something? I don't have to, but if you do, it's not a problem. But I don't have to. I'm not forcing you to do anything. But if you do, it's not a problem. Next, don't need to do anything, but the summary options are important. Why? Because I'd like to have the total of the purchases. I can use it this way, it's much easier. Okay, next, is it a name? Yes, this is the name for it. And then I didn't tell you to choose any kind of style, so finish. And that's it. And that concludes the exam. With the explanation and everything, it took us 48 minutes, maybe less, because some of the. So you can have it. You can solve this in 1 hour. You just need to not hesitate too much. You have to know what you do. So I know you want to stay, but I need to let you go.